And Mind Crypto here. I hope we're all having a wonderful day. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor and none of this is financial advice, and none of the information provided in this video should ever be taken or seen as a signal to buy or to sell. But please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also drop me a comment. You'd be doing me a massive favor. But first and foremost, we look at the crypto bubbles. And as we can see, it's a bit greener today with the news that we've just heard this morning with regards to Israel. But I don't think the market is falling for it this time. So we've not really seen a huge dip, which is great. And as we can see, Quant is ranked 71 with a market cap of $1.29 billion. Current price is $106. Volume still fairly low at $24 million. But I think as time goes by, people are going to start seeing the power of Quant, as we know. Now, as you can see, the spot exchange is still at around 250,000. The last time we saw a major dip on the spot exchange was partly to do with this. As we can see here, Gilbert on stage with the big boys, Tony McLaughlin and Tom Mutton. And I think at that point, people started to see what was actually going on. So with the news recently that we've seen with the RLN and the possible news that will be coming out with regards to a few other factors, SATP, I think people will start to figure out what's going on. So it's just a matter of people understanding the intricacies of this detail. So we go over here and we see Confidential, Quant posting about the digital euro again just now. And it says here, the digital euro presents an opportunity to use new tools and technologies that can tackle the ongoing challenge of fraud. Discover what else the latest updates to the draft digital euro legislation will mean for the financial institutions in this article. So we move over to the Quant website and we can see here updates to the digital euro legislation. And we know when Quant starts talking about stuff, it usually gives us an insight to what's actually coming. They are the inside man. And as we can see here, Gilbert shares his thoughts on the latest updates to the draft. And on February the 14th, 2024, the EU Parliamentary Committee on Economic and Monetary Affairs held a meeting to discuss the digital euro. An updated draft of the digital euro legislation revealed several key changes. Pierre Cipollone, member of the ECB's executive board, was explicit in the commitment to preserve everyone's freedom to use a public means of payment anywhere in the euro area, even as payments go digital, addressing concerns around bank disintermediation. Despite concerns, commercial bank needn't worry about consumers withdrawing deposits to hold digital euro instead, because it's being designed as a means of payment, not investment. The introduction of this new currency is designed to complement cash with a digital option for paying with central bank money. Similarly, while questions around the need for holding fees are somewhat valid, the digital euro is still very much in an exploratory phase. This is why it's important that banks trial this technology first in a disciplined manner. By implementing certain parameters, the ECB can get better understanding of how digital euro would work in a real life setting before it's rolled out to customers. The central bank has also discussed implementing deposit limits as a precautionary measure to help address concerns from banks relating to contagion or risk to other parts of the system. By taking this approach, the ECB can ensure it understands what it means for the end user. However, while it's reassuring to hear that the ECB is committed to preserve the role and share of central bank money in payments, it's equally important to clarify the introduction of this new form of money will not alter how banks operate, hence the safeguards included in the design of the digital euro. Permissionless blockchains. The concept of an internet of money has the potential to transform the financial services industry. It consists of a combination of interoperable permissionless blockchains that allow both people and institutions to safely transact on public networks whilst maintaining privacy and confidentiality. For banks, transacting on these new large-scale networks can enable them to gain greater distribution, payment acceptance, and settlement options. Until now, public blockchains were typically used for cryptocurrency. Increasingly, though, central banks are enabling businesses to run payments on public blockchains, and if engineered correctly, they can have a greater resilience due to the widespread distribution. This shift towards permissionless blockchains is a positive evolution in the maturity of blockchain, we're now seeing the acceptance of broader networks being used, which, if combined with the right technology, provide access to greater networks that offer more users, distribution, and liquidity. The needs for privacy, arguably the most important design feature of the digital euro, privacy continues to remain a topic of discussion. However, the ECB has confirmed that it is working on implementing state-of-the-art security measures to ensure privacy protection. The central bank has also stated that the consumers will also be able to use digital euro offline, offering cash-like privacy to users, where personal transaction details would only be known to the payer and the payee. While a certain level of apprehension around this new form of money is to be expected, we must remind ourselves that this is often the case whenever we experience significant change. If we cast our minds back to when the bank cards were first introduced, we witnessed similar hesitation then too. This may mean that initially acceptance of the digital euro is gradual, but regardless, it's crucial that the ECB continue to uphold the highest levels of privacy throughout future stages of the development if they want to gain consumer trust and encourage widespread adoption. Tackling fraud, the digital euro presents an opportunity to use new tools and technology that help tackle the ongoing challenge of fraud. If the ECB wants to maintain trust in the digital euro, it must prioritize effective fraud detection and prevention. This is because if the bank can effectively demonstrate the capabilities of the digital euro, its ability to protect users and from fraudulent activities, it can strengthen its reputation. So, what's next for the digital euro? As the ECB progresses in developing a digital euro, it will continue to iterate design elements, address concerns, and optimize benefits. We look forward to seeing how the digital euro continues to evolve as it provides the unique opportunity for commercial banks, enabling them to launch new innovative products, address new use cases, and extend their scope beyond domestic markets. Now, this is very, very interesting that we know Quant is very much always providing detail before news comes about. And we saw this previously. I posted this a while back. I wonder who the Bank of England's Tom Mutton is talking about at the European Parliament, a standard setting concept of harmonization. It requires a policy and an infrastructure layer to deliver true interoperability. BOE is setting the standards. So let's have a listen to Tom Mutton now.
Just you mentioned interoperability just a moment ago, and also during our preparation call. Could you maybe touch briefly on what you mean by interoperability in this context, and then we'll come back to Commissioner for swaps, and then ask Andre to have the last word here.
So my experience of these sorts of events is if you want to talk at one of these panels and you don't want to do any prep, then you just sort of randomly use the word interoperability as much as you can, because it's almost impossible to pin you down on it. Generally, a lot of what follows is utterly banal as well. For me, it's really two dimensions. And we think about this a lot in the context of the digital pound, but also around things like stablecoins, for example, tokenized bank deposits. But it applies much more broadly. I think it's really three things. First of all, how to make sure that certain types of digital assets are interchangeable and interoperable with each other. So easy transmission between different types of digital assets. Then I think interoperability with other types of money, which could include things like central bank money. And then I think there is a third type of interoperability, which is across different types of technology stacks, and in particular, I think across different types of distributed ledger, across chains. Those terms, I think, could be disputed. I think people could challenge that premise of interoperability. I think often when people talk about interoperability, they actually mean exchange. But I think it's a really important topic, one where I think the concept of standard setting, the concept of harmonization is very important, and it requires both a policy layer and an infrastructure layer to deliver true interoperability.
Wow, to deliver true interoperability, it requires concept of harmonization, a standard of setting. Now, this is very, very important because we see this from Sam. Damn, direct Rosalind mention and outcomes used for the next phase of the New Zealand CBDC project. Copy and paste across the globe, because nothing comes close to Quant over Ledger. It fits all the needs. And as we can see, this is the design options and preferences, rationales, and insights with regards to the New Zealand CBDC. And as we can see, the mention down here, Insights Project Rosalind, sponsored by the BIS Innovation Hub London, demonstrates the powerful impact of having a standard set of API specifications released as a public good to drive adoption and innovation. This will be formally published in August and would be helpful as part of the next phase of this project. So that's a big call out. And obviously, Project Rosalind was the testbed, and we are seeing this now we're seeing this slowly being adopted by others and being watched, which is really, really important. Now, when I talk about the UK as a large exporter of financial services, we know that they are the largest exporter in the world, which is absolutely huge. So getting very, very interesting. And as we can see, APIs, Project Rosalind, all slowly piecing this jigsaw together. I'm excited. I don't know about you, but it feels to me that at some point, we are going to see a similar dip at some point, and that will just take the numbers very, very low on spot exchange. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, drop me some comments. All the best, and I'll catch you later.